Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I want to talk to you about some of the challenges that you're going to face when you are released. We want you to go to the masjid. I want you to bear in mind that the people at the masjid do not know you. They do not know anything about you. That they have never seen you before. And therefore, they're going to look at you with a certain amount of caution. One of the things that you're going to have to do is that familiarity will help you in coming to the masjid, coming to pray in the line during the day, praying Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha and Salat al-Fajr at the masjid, to come to Jummah, right, at the masjid. Remember, these are Muslims, these are your brothers, and they will be here for your aid and your assistance, but they have the same expectations of you as they have of everyone else, and that is that you take care of yourself, that you manage to take care of yourself. And if you're not able to do that, then the masjid may be able to help you depending on the resources of the masjid. But the number one thing is that the masjid and the people expect that grown men take care of themselves. That you have the issues of finding a place to live, finding employment, which is very important. First thing you got to do is find some place to make an honest living. As we said before, you have to be prepared to make an honest living. You have to prepare yourself to make an honest living. A lot of us, all we know how to do is hustle in the streets. Well, you find out what hustling in the streets brings you, right? It's prison at the end of the day. So we want to find a way that you make an honest living. It doesn't matter, it can, whatever it is, as long as it's honest. That's the most important thing, that your livelihood is halal, that you're able to tell people what it is that you do for a living. If you're in a position and you can't tell other people what you do for a living, then maybe you need to find some other kind of way to live. Family reunification, and it goes into rebuilding relationships. That once you get out of circulation, that sometimes building relationships becomes difficult. It becomes a challenge for you. It's something that you're going to have to work on. It's something that you're going to have to, I can't get in your skin and help you to build relationships and healthy relationships with people. That's something that you're going to have to do for yourself. And one of the ways that you can do that is to go into the support groups that exist. Go into those groups that are designed to support you in that re-entry, to sit down and talk to other people who have the same shared experience as you and find out how they have done what they've done, how they're building relationships, and how to do it. If you go back to your old world and go back to the old people that you were with before you went to jail, you're probably back on your way again. The tradition of the Prophet, ﷺ, if you hang out with the blacksmith, you're going to smell like smoke. But if you hang out with the perfume salesman, you'll smell like perfume. Again, if you hang out with people who are unsavory, who are in the streets, who are committing crimes, then that's what's going to happen. Whether or not you're committing crime with them or not, that's what it's going to rub off on you. So you want to hang out, you want to befriend people who are God-fearing people, who's going to remind you of Islam, who's going to remind you of your covenant that you made with Allah when you said La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. So you want to start looking at new friends. You want to start looking at those sorts of things. The girlfriends. Look, you need to take a break from women until you get yourself together as far as your housing, as far as your employment, as far as your transportation is concerned. You know, and as far as building relationships and having healthy relationships, you know, I've been in the prison. I hear how they talk about women. I hear the conversations that go on in the cell houses about women, and you can't maintain a happy family life with that mentality. You know, if that's what you think about women, you'll never be successful. A lot of you have difficulty in child support and child support payments. You know, this is a real challenge. You know that's can be considered voluntary unemployment. That while you were incarcerated, and while you are incarcerated, the child support payments will be going into arrearage, and that prevents many people from looking for employment because they're going to lose their paychecks to child support. You're still obligated to take care of your children. As a man, as a Muslim, you're obligated to take care of your children. You're obligated to take care of yourself. And you're obligated to do what you have to do that's legal, right? And I emphasize the word legal. That's not going to have you in jail. Don't use the excuse that I had to do this because I had to pay my bills or whatever. That's not an excuse. No one accepts that. The issue of substance abuse. Don't forget, man, you know, like you've been away from drugs and alcohol for X amount of time. Doesn't mean that you have lost the craving for that. Drugs and alcohol are readily available out here. They're easy to get. No one will say anything to you if you go to the liquor store and buy a gallon of 10 gallons of whiskey. It doesn't matter. But if you have a history of drugs or alcohol abuse, if you have a history of that, you need to find assistance in making sure that you stay off of alcohol, that you stay off of this substance abuse. Because this is, you know, it's going to be very difficult to be successful if you go back to those habits. And again, let me emphasize relationships. That building proper relationships with people is very important. You know, that, and part of having good relationships is having disputes with people. But you're going to have disputes. You know, people are not going to agree with everything you say, and they're not going to like everything that you do. And you're going to have to learn how to handle that. You know, how you did it in prison doesn't work out here. The people in the community, in society, they don't accept that. They don't accept that kind of solving problems. We have to learn how to solve our problems without resorting to violence, without resorting to abuse and the like. Remember the Prophet ﷺ, he said the signs of hypocrisy were four. He said one of them was he was a liar when he speaks. When he promises, he breaks his promise. When he promises, he breaks his promise. When he's entrusted, he betrays. And finally, when he's in a dispute, he becomes abusive. And he says as long as one of us has any one of those characteristics, even though we may pray and fast, then we have part hypocrisy. So remember that building relationships is very important. When you go to the masjid, all kind of people there. You want to befriend them. You want to be somebody that they want to say, alhamdulillah, we know Brother Abdul, we know this brother, we know that brother, and we find him to be good. You know, there was one brother, he went to prison for the first time, and he said he was from another country, and it was the first time he had ever been to an American prison. And he said, I looked into their faces, and I could see the good in them, you know. And I want everybody to always show the good that's in you, especially when you get outside, when you're released from prison. Assalamu alaikum.
The advice that I give to the Muslims who's incarcerated, I tell them to actually realize that everything isn't as black and white or isn't as utopia aspect when you get out. The truth is there are going to be a lot of hardships, prejudice, as well as downfalls, but you always going to find certain brothers that you can relate to. And by holding on that rope of Allah and knowing that keeping that love for Allah and His message on the inside will help you. So, once again, your family, you are the only one that changed. Most likely, your families are still doing the same thing. Employment is going to be hard because you are the only one who changed. Everybody else, you may be a Muslim, but as they looking at you, they're going to look at you as a felon. And the masjids at the mosques, people don't know you. So make yourself useful instead of asking for handouts. Let them know that you are a brother. You don't have to tell them that you locked up. Be an asset before you be a liability. This is my advice to your brothers. Always remember Allah and His message and follow. Paint a picture of what you may face. When getting out, you may not have or be able to find employment. Your family, your housing condition may not be the one that you wish that you wanted. You might be called felon more than you be called Muslim. You will have females coming at you that's trying to take away your deen and you trying to hold on to it. You may have individuals, your friends that you knew in the past, giving you drugs to get you off your deen that they think is helping you. But when you know it's really destroying you. And then you also, in that same aspect, will walk into the masjid and may not be accepted with open arms because you're not known. Maybe they know that you are re-entering in society, or just because you're different. All this can be overwhelming and scary. This is when Allah, you hold on to Allah, because you will want to leave the masjid, run away from the masjid. This is where you need to stay. And like I said before, be an asset. Be patient, have mercy, and be quiet. Just see it. Just sit down and just be patient. A lot of things going to happen. It will test your patience. It's not what you will find in those books. Eventually, some things you will see in the book. You will see the glimpse of the brotherhood. You will see the glimpse of Zakat, but you will see the glimpses of it. But that utopia in which we learn of brothers being the greatest brothers in the world, like Sahabas, the Muslims being the angels coming from heaven, ideal. No, it's real life. You will not be able to get a job. You will have hardships. You will have people despising you or stereotyping you. So just because you took your shahada, Allah will test you. Allah will test you. Allah will test you. You bear witness that there was one God, and He gonna test you. And Muhammad is His messenger. So follow the Sunnah, brothers. I'm telling you, it may be scary. It's not meant to be scary. It's meant to open your mind and know, sit back. When that woman come to you and try to take your deen, when your homeboys come to you and try to take your deen with this money, and when you are broke, have not the place, and living in a place where you don't want to live, this is when
If you're a man,
your deen is tested.
females is one of the greatest tests that you're going to have. and I'm 65. And that challenge is still present. I mean, be aware of that for sure. You talking about I ain't got over that? Yeah, while you're there. Like the brother Saeed used to tell us when he came in, right? That's me, Big Buck Bertha. Right. She's out here, man. I'm talking about, man. I'm talking about in groves, right? And they pull up on you. I mean, you ain't got to say nothing, right? You know, they talking to you, and then they spending money on you. So, brothers, I'm just trying to keep it straight with you, right? As of this day, right now, I got a peace of mind that's beyond words, beyond words. You know, some of the older brothers saying how they're going to survive out here. Stay close to the masjid. Do not abandon the salat. No matter what you do, do not abandon the salat. You can always communicate with Allah through the salat and ask Him, you know, the things that you can't do, ask for Him. Ask Him to guide you. You know, give you that strength that you need in order to achieve your objective, right? Don't let it be a material thing. Ask Allah for knowledge. And you can get all the material things that you want, right? But do it in a way that is pleasing to Allah. That's it. I mean, no magic, no, none of that in that, right? You know, I don't speak a lot of Arabic or nothing like that. It's just in the doing. You know, Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam led by example. You know, translate that into your actual doing, your living. You know, and if you say it, try to do it. Don't live above your means. Deal with the true reality, not your reality. I mean, stay close to the masjid. Stay close to the brothers. All right? You cannot, you will not. It's a guarantee. You won't lose. You can't lose. Allah gives us that guarantee in the Quran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Fi aman Allah. May the